up next, like I said, we got one candidate going into the doghouse for this week. Now, the candidate was actually just talked about recently. Actually, within the last couple of weeks, this person was considered a dog. Then they became a dishonorable mention. Now they just full on doghouse. They're supposed to be the franchise player for this team, but they recently just did something that just was just very. It wasn't smart. Let's put it that way. I'm not calling him stupid. I'm not gonna call him an idiot because I don't know him personally. But the gesture just didn't make a lot of sense, especially when you look at his history. And who I'm talking about is Ja Morant. Ja Morant. Now, he's having a pretty good season statistically. He's averaging 22.7 points per game, about 7.4 assists. He's played in 46 games this year. So, yes, if you look at that statistical wise and you look at the Grizzlies, yes, he's playing very well. I'm not putting him in here because of his play. Ja Morant just the other night in the game against the Warriors, and I'm holding Buddy Hield to this as well. But Ja Morant particularly because you've had a history of suspension because you were caught twice flashing a gun. Now, it may just be a gesture, possibly, but when it comes to you, you should know that they're going to take this a lot more seriously when it comes to you because Ja, if you don't remember, you know you served an 8-game suspension in 2023. And 2 months after that, you were live again on Instagram and flashed another gun, which the NBA investigated and then suspended you for 25 games, which led on to the very next season. And in that very next season, which was last season, after it carried on, you only played in 9 games because you had a shoulder injury. Now, look, I've already given you some kind of criticism because of what transpired with Taylor Jenkins being let go from the team because you complained about not having enough touches on the offense, basically upset that the offense wasn't necessarily running through you almost majority of the time. I'm guessing you didn't like your player usage. At this time, you almost put yourself in position to be suspended, knowing that you have playoff games coming up. You already lost your coach. You lost your coach. Your assistant coaches are all gone. It's just you and the guys and your interim head coach right now who coached, I believe was Paris. I can't remember what team he coached in the Olympics, but he coached in the Olympics just recently. And now you do a gun gesture at another player. I understand they did it to you first, but you should be smarter than that, y'all. You know that you just had a suspension just last season. This is not something that happened 5 years ago or 10 years ago. This just happened last season where you got suspended, where you had to serve a suspension. Well, not two seasons ago, where you had to serve a suspension of 8 games and 25 games, all within one season. You're already not eligible for any awards this season, and you won't be eligible because you missed too many games this season because of injury. But you almost cost your team any kind of movement in the playoffs with you putting yourself in position by doing that gun gesture to a player. Now, some people say, you could do it, put it in your thing, or how Melo does this, but you didn't do that. You literally pointed at another player. And I'm going to say this again. I know Buddy Hield did it first. And I'm not saying that he was right because he was also wrong. But Ja, you should know better because you've already been suspended for something similar to what happened as far as the gesture. You were already suspended for actual guns. So you should know that you are not going to be an exception when it comes to doing something like that. So, Ja, you are the one and only person being inducted into the doghouse today. Please be smarter next time so I can get you out of the doghouse. My guy, you in the doghouse.